What's going on, guys? Before we get into the video, I just want to let you know I'm actually giving this piece away, so if you want to be entered for the giveaway, all you have to do is like the video and subscribe and you will be entered, and you might even want to turn on notifications just because I plan on doing more of these giveaways in the future. Anyway, let's get into the video. So welcome to Jacob's Draws. This is a little project that I've been wanting to do for a little bit now. Welcome to my video, and today I'm gonna just be kind of going through the drawing, discussing what was going through my head, and kind of just talking about my kind of creative process here, a few different challenges and things that were running through my mind when I was doing this, and just a little bit about me. So this video is kind of largely inspired by another YouTuber actually named Peter Draws. I will leave a link to him in the description. Be sure to check him out. He's a great artist, Peter Draws. He he's very abstract, and it's something that I've tried to replicate and I fail miserably. So I definitely give him a lot of props. I have a much different style, and I'm going to be getting into some of my large inspirations and kind of key drivers of my creative process. So before we get into all that, I just want to let you know that like I said in the beginning of this video, you can win this drawing. This can be yours. I'm gonna be getting it framed, and then I'm gonna be shipping it out, and as long as you live in America, basically in the US, you can win this. All you have to do is like this video and subscribe, and if you would like to, turn on notifications, because I plan on giving away more drawings in the future. So definitely look out for all of that. But to talk about this little part here, this when I first showed my little sister the final product of this drawing, she thought that this looked like Pepe the Frog. So I thought that was pretty funny. But this was largely inspired actually because of my pet frog. I have a pet tree frog named Fred, so shout out Fred. So these little braids here, I actually had to look up a picture of a braid because I wasn't exactly sure how to draw a braid from memory, but it's just a nice little pattern. That's really the key to Micron pen drawings, I feel, is just different little intricate patterns that you can do. And a really nice way to get a lot more detail in your drawings is just going down with the pen size. I start usually the majority of the little detail things like this right here. I think I was working with my 01 pen, which if you actually read is not 0.01 millimeters. It's 0.25 millimeters, so a quarter of a millimeter. Still very small, and it's funny. So you can see. I'm sorry if the video cuts, by the way. This was my first time doing this in the software I was working with. I didn't know, but it's only limited to 45 minutes. So these are in 45-minute intervals. And you could see I actually misplaced that gem there, and then I actually drew that bug because I had to kind of improvise why it was out of place. So I just drew that bug there to make him look like he was thieving. And back to doing some intricate little details with the hair. And again, this is what I was talking about. Being just nice little patterns with the Micron pens is key to a nice detailed drawing. So I'd like to really thank you for tuning in. This is something that's largely inspired by Peter Draws, like I was saying, but then also Bob Ross. This is like a very Bob Ross thing, I feel. Just sharing your artwork with the world and giving a little bit of light into the creative processes behind this and your overall mentality behind the artwork and some of your ideas. So you'll notice throughout this video, I've already mentioned a few, but I make a lot of mistakes and I have to try to improvise and fix them, and that's something that Peter's definitely talked a lot about in his videos, and something that you'll find the more and more that you draw is you're never going to be able to draw perfect, and you're always going to have to kind of, you're always improving is the first thing to keep in mind. But more than that, you're going to have to just try to overcome the challenges that are in the way, and most of the time you're your own challenge by, limiting yourself by either what you choose to draw or, just what you choose not to draw, I guess. That could also be said for. So anyway, also I would like to hear if you guys are still watching this far through the video. Come by the end, if you are still watching, I'd like to know what your favorite part of this drawing is, because it's pretty detailed, and there's a lot of different parts, and if you actually take a time to look at like every little thing, there's I think there's about 20 or so creatures in the entire thing, so quite a bit of detail. But my favorite is actually the first thing that I actually drew, the little king guy in the middle. So just to get that out of the way now. Spoiler alert. I just love the amount of detail that I added to him, and kind of just the way he evolved throughout the drawing. First it almost looked like he was gonna be a little like jack-o'-lantern, like a pumpkin guy, but he just kept changing, and that's usually what happens with my style of drawing, is I just keep adding and trying to find detail, places that I can go back and add detail, and that's a large part of my drawing philosophy, I guess. And I guess now would be a good time to kind of talk about some of my inspirations and favorite artists. So I'm largely inspired by this artist named Mr. Joe Johnson. Not too sure if there's any Mr. Joe Johnson fans out there, but if there are, please be sure to let me know in the comments. I love Joe. Never really talked to him or met him, but I have been in his Instagram DMs. I've actually bought one of his 20 prints that he did beginning of this year. Have it hanging up in my room. It's a very unique piece. He's a very unique artist, just very, very creative, very abstract, very whimsical. It's great. I love it. So definitely go check out Mr. Joe Johnson. He's just a great artist and a great guy too. If you follow him on Instagram, he's got some funny content out there. So, and he's also very skilled. He uses a few different mediums. He's not restricted to pen and paper. He's done graffiti. He's very, very good at graffiti, and that's something that I've tried. I've actually only done it one time, but it was also very cold. The conditions weren't perfect, but it did not go well, to say the least. But anyway, yeah, you can see here we're getting into the body of the king, which is my favorite guy here, and this is probably my favorite part of him too, and which you're about to be seeing unfolding in the drawing right now, is kind of this lower part of him, his weird, creepy, witch-like hands, and you can see like progression-wise, like the hands look like crap when I first draw them, and they honestly kind of do. Like I could be better for sure about like the the exact length of the fingers and all that, but I was just flowing during this. I was just listening to music, just in my own zone, just trying to get a unique look, and I definitely think I achieved that here, and I do love the way that this turned out. So you're definitely watching my favorite part of the drawing unfold here. And something you'll find out as well is I just keep going back and forth throughout different parts. You might think that I'm like done with a single part, but then I'll come back like quite a bit ways later in real life, but in the video maybe like 5-10 minutes later, and retouch a part that I've already touched up on. And this is one of my favorite parts of this lower section of the king here that I'm drawing. You'll see this scorpion unfold. It's a pretty unique part of the drawing. People always ask me how I'm like so creative and how I can just keep drawing just out of the whole just creative center of my brain, and just put thoughts into the processing center of my brain and then output it onto the page. And it's definitely something like that's basically what drawing is taking your creative thoughts and putting them on the page. So I think there's quite a few different processes that go on in my brain when that goes on, but for the most part, you just got to try to I think a big part of my drawing, especially for once I have at least one thing on the page, is just how I can make it interact with something else on the page. So, you know, that's why you'll see me have like little creatures and things, and then also on the other scale of that, have bigger creatures and things behind, you know, some of the stuff that's going on in the foreground. So it's just, you know, it's part of drawing, and it's just something that you will get better at as you continue to draw. But just, you know, finding like a creative decision, you know, that's drawing is just, you have endless decisions basically, and that's really the beauty of it. You can just, it's really up to you what goes on the page, and you know, you're only limited by your imagination, so you might as well think of some crazy, you know, think of stuff that it fascinates you. That's usually where my a lot of the inspirations and things in my drawings come from, you know, is just stuff that fascinates me. You know, if it's not something that I would want, like, be interested in, most of the times I wouldn't draw it. So, speaking about interests, I guess I'll tell you guys a little bit about myself. So I'm actually a 5th year senior during these crazy times. I go to school in New York at a college called Fredonia, and I'm actually not into art. I used to be an art minor, but I actually stopped doing that to follow a few other choices that I felt would maybe better impact my career. And so I'm going to school to be an economist, and I have a minor in statistics, and I'm gonna be finishing up my minor this semester for computer information systems. And so this is going to be, I'm in the last few months of my semester, of my final semester, and this is, you know, the time at Fredonia was great. I'm definitely excited to get out into the real world and start working, but at the same time, one of my other interests is this is not my first YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel that's focused on investing, and I intend for that to be growing into something more like passive income and just kind of like financial education in general, and kind of life planning for finances and that sort of thing. So be sure to check that out. I'll leave obviously links in the description, a scorecard up on screen for you guys to go check out Interesting Investing. It's very cool. I do really like YouTube, and I think the possibilities are endless on YouTube. You know, you can make really whatever you want, and this is kind of what this project has turned into here. So as you guys could see, I actually just, I don't know if, you know, you were paying attention too much to the drawing, but as I was rambling, that fingertip that I made on the lower finger of the 2 fingers holding the pill on the right side of the screen, I wasn't happy with, so I ended up making this weird little knight guy, minotaur. That is a minotaur, right? I believe so. Or is that a centaur? I have no clue. Anyway, basically just drew his arm in the way of that fingernail just to, you know, fix the error that I drew. And this is basically what I was talking about a little earlier. It's just the drawing is basically your choice to, you know, if you have something that you don't like, you can always fix it. If you work hard enough. And you know, the only way that you really can't fix it is if you limit yourself. So please be sure to like this video. You know, I just thought that I would add this little part here so that I could draw the tail. You know, add the tape so that I could draw the tail. Otherwise the tail would not be there and it might look a little weird. So, you know, and I was thinking, if I'm going to display this if the main like objective in the main medium that this image is going to exist in is video, the majority of everyone who is ever going to see this picture is going to be a video. You know, why am I going to limit myself to just this little paper? If I want to draw that tail, I'm going to put some tape down and draw that tail. So yeah, you know, I'm just adding more detail. You can see I added some grass, and so now I'm going back and boldening some things, and as you can see, I'm editing that scorpion again, making him a little darker. And something I was thinking about when I was drawing this is maybe I should make the knight, you know, stabbing the king in the back of the neck or in the back, but I went against that. He almost, it looks like he might be fending off the snake from biting Pepe the Frog there, or Fred the Frog, whichever one you see it as. And that's another cool thing that I like to implement in my drawings is kind of just the leaving the choice of what's going on to the viewer, and I think that's always the case. Like you're never going to be able to control exactly what the people who see your art basically are going to think. But you can influence that depending on how detailed you are and like the level of understanding to which people can get from your image definitely can vary depending on how abstract you are. And when you're not just drawing random things in random shapes to create one massive abstract mess, and you actually have objects and people and real things in here, kind of like I do, there's a fine line between the different textures that you can put in to enhance something and kind of doing that too much to the point where it's too much chaos and you can't really make out what you're supposed to make out. And part of this you'll kind of see comes in towards the end. I end up making what I would consider probably the biggest mistake of the whole image, which is just adding like kind of this smoke effect behind the bug and the king's crown, which you can see on screen now, kind of like the middle top part of the screen. I add some smoke. And I'm not too happy with that, but art is always something that you're going to learn from and just try to improve, just like anything else, really. The only mistakes made in life, there's this quote that I've heard, I don't know who it's by, you'll have to forgive me, but the biggest mistakes made in life are usually mistakes that come from just not learning when you make a mistake. You always want to be learning and improving in whatever it is that you're doing. So yeah, so I was just randomly thinking, what could I add in this little space here that would be epic? And of course I had to go with a flying squirrel because flying squirrels are dope. I don't have a flying squirrel, but I have interacted with them before and they're so cute. I think they're called sugar gliders, or the one that I saw was a sugar glider. It was super cute, and I would like one. So I was thinking about making a stopwatch, like making them hold a little pocket watch or something like that, but I went against that because, well, I'll just let the drawing unfold so that you guys can see. I don't want to spoil anything besides obviously my first what I like the best about this picture, but it wasn't really a spoiler because he was already drawn, so it was kind of just limiting, I guess, the rest of the drawing. If you think that just because it's my favorite does not make it the actual best part of the drawing. It's my opinion. I just like the way he turned out. He's very unique, and I like when I draw something that's very unique. So and something that I like to show a lot of my friends and family my drawings and just get their perspective on it. And a lot of people tend to not see the mouth and the eyes and like the bigger things that I draw behind the majority of the foreground. And I think that's an interesting part of my drawings, is kind of like the bigger action going on behind the scene, because like there's different ways that you can look at the image. Like when I'm drawing, I obviously am just looking at the whole image. So I was thinking maybe look at this dude in the back who's got the teeth and the weird bloodshot eyes. If that's him holding the little pill there, this could be like him looking at that and then thinking about what's just going on in his head, and he's like tripping, and this is the image that he's got, like some crazy demented world or something. I'm just rambling on. This is completely just random me. These are my thoughts, and this is exactly what I kind of wanted to do with this, is just kind of go through what's running through my head, just some different random things. And so you can see I didn't put the pocket watch with the flying squirrel. I actually made my own little clock guide down here, and you'll end up seeing what I do with him down here. And I think this is a very unique part of the drawing as well. I was looking at the image before this, and I remember texting my girlfriend Tristan. Shout out Tristan, I love you. Basically about how I wanted to fill up and add a lot more detail to this left side because it was feeling a little empty. So I added this this little clock guy, and you'll see what I end up doing with the kind of detail portion of it. But I definitely think it's a unique look, and I'm happy with the way that this part of the drawing turned out. And yeah, this clock guy actually originated in my creative history of drawing from this little challenge that I had at the beginning of 2020, where for the first 3 months, basically up until April, every day I would draw a little drawing on these post-it notes, and I had 4 different colors. I had blue, orange, yellow, and pink, and I have them all over my walls and stuff. And basically, it was just a little creative outlet for me, and it got me drawing once a day, just a little image, and it was something that I enjoyed doing. So, maybe I'll get back to that at some point, but haven't done that in a few months. But I do think that drawing could be or I don't even think I should say could be. It definitely is, without a doubt, a very helpful instrument, for getting through life. It helps me kill stress. It's a very nice creative outlet. It's something that I can do, and then that's all my brain thinks about. And I think those are very healthy, just like producing whatever comes to your mind, basically. And so, as I've been talking, you guys have been seeing what I've been doing, and this is the part that I was talking about, feeling very unique and different, and very, very one of a kind. So basically, I was thinking of cool ways to implement action into my drawings. So what if he shot the gun, and then we just basically feathered out the entire effect of that gunshot via these radiating parallels, I guess you could call them, from the central point of the bullet. So that's basically what I did. And then I drew this unique little bang. I was debating on whether I wanted to add words into the actual drawing, but I was thinking about it, and it's my drawing, it's up to me, and I was like, what, if I am thinking about it, why don't I just do it? So that's what we did. We added bang. This is actually the first time, I believe, in these the first two that I've done of a drawing like this, of just complete chaotic randomness. There were no words, but this one there is words. And I was talking to my good friend Trent about this drawing, actually showing it to him, finalized version, and he was like, you should have something that's like your watermark, basically, your portion of the image that always, is in every one of your drawings, like a thumbprint, basically. And I was like, what? It's funny you say that, because I actually already have that. And you guys will see this in the rest of my drawings. You'll see this from, in every drawing probably on this channel, I would imagine, just because it is something that I have done kind of like that. These, the 2 fingers that are holding up that pill on the right side of your screen, right near the eye, those fingers I've had in every single one of my drawings like this. And so I kind of think of that almost as my little fingerprint. That's my signature on the drawing. That's my signature because it's my unique print. So, stupid little thing for you there, but basically, the design of the fingerprint is definitely not the same, but the important thing is, it's the same. It's basically the same design. It's like the same look. It's just not the exact same line pattern. So I like to often leave little Easter eggs in my pictures if you can find them, and I actually drew this little parachute guy almost like he has the button to the rocket to launch it if he wants to. Anyway, I was thinking of what I could add to this upper little section here, and I ended up going with the biplane, because I was just, I was looking for something not too big to fill up this little upper section here, and I wanted it to kind of make some sense. So, a biplane flying would be good, and it didn't turn out great, but it didn't turn out horrible. I'm all right with the way it turned out, and you can see I actually made another mistake right there. I turned the wing away from the plane, and I realized that I couldn't do that, so I actually ended up just, as you can see, I kind of ignored that line, and you'll see how it ends up finishing. That's kind of a mistake line, and that's going to exist in the visible mistake column. But you know what? Sometimes some visible mistakes, it just adds some character to the drawing, So, as Bob Ross called them, they're always just happy little accidents, and that's the way you got to look at them. You can never be too mad at yourself for what you create. And you know, I think drawing is always a process where you just reflect on what you're doing, and that's kind of what I did. So you know, I knew I was going to add this other eye here to complete this little face, and it's definitely, you know, some people think a big mistake of it is that this eye here is it's lopsided. You know, it looks way too squished in the face of this guy at the end. It looks a little like wonky, but you know, I think that's just a creative flair of this picture. You know, so it's something that, you know, it came out that way, and it's unique that way. So I really just enjoy drawing for the complete level of uniqueness that it brings. You can do so much in drawing, and you know, I think it's really great the way in which you have all of this freedom. And unfortunately, we are getting to my least favorite portion of the drawing, these clouds, these cursed clouds. Why couldn't I have just left the drawing the way it was? Dang. But, you know, it is what it is. You just gotta live and you learn. You know, I was just talking about it. You can never, mistakes are just happy little accidents, and that's the way I gotta look at this. Sometimes trying to do too much is definitely doing too much, and I think this is a clear example. You know, I wanted to add some clouds here behind this, maybe just to make it look a little more evil near the dolphin. You know, and I was thinking of ways to do that, but I definitely did not achieve that with this, the selection to go here with these clouds. You know, I was trying to etch this to make it look pretty sinister and evil, but I did not do that. It just ended up turning out pretty subpar, and I had to end up just doing a whole bunch of darkening to kind of just correct the overall look of what was going on, and it was not something that I favored. So it was unfortunate, but you know, as you guys can see, it doesn't look terrible. It just doesn't look great. It doesn't look like it really should be in the drawing, but you know, it is what it is. And so now basically I was thinking of another way to kind of just combat taking all of your, like, the pressure to seeing that in the drawing. So I basically just decided that I was going to just give it a nice little textured background, and I was going to do that with just some dots. So, you know, this drawing overall took me anywhere between 8 to 10 hours. I think it took me roughly 9. So, you know, I actually don't know the exact time that it took me, but, you know, I'm happy that you guys stuck around for this entire video. I really appreciate it. There's going to be more content like this. I'm going to try to create something like this maybe about once a month, you know, just a nice big old drawing, and maybe try to do some more giveaways just to grow this channel. And I definitely want to hear from you guys. You know, let me know how you guys are doing. Welcome to the channel. And yeah, so now I'm just going to throw up some screenshots of my favorite different parts of the picture. You know, it's really unique. It's very crazy. I love the different etching and patterns that I added in here. This is probably my favorite little section of the picture. There's just so much going on. You know, the snake, the king, of course. This is another very unique part of the picture. And then this is obviously the part where I was talking about I'm not liking the etching. And then obviously this here. Total grand scheme picture. Very nice. Looks great. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Be sure to enter the giveaway by liking and subscribing. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching Jake Draws. And you guys have a great day. Take it easy.